Well, my involvement for the last few years, like I said, first it started off more in SCAF, or Southern California Anarchist Federation. From SCAF, we branched or led to RAC, Revolutionary Autonomous Communities, and organizing with RAC is, I guess we decided, based off of our previous experiences dealing with white anarchists in the movement and them not being able or willing to challenge their privilege. And if you do bring up the national or race question, they freak out. So we just thought about creating something different, and from there led to a food program. I've stayed consistent, I guess, somewhat in cop watching, but also I think more so it's building community. Like, how can we talk about building world change when most of us can't even or don't have an impact on our own family, or we don't even talk to our neighbors that live next door to us. So I think more so my involvement over the last few months has somewhat cooled down because I'm reassessing a lot of things and trying to take my battles to new fronts. But at the same time, it's more, I need to get to know my neighbor. Like, if something goes on, like, how can we all be linked up in some ways and we can build true community? How can we make my street, 51st Place, an autonomous place to where if anything goes down, like, how can we connect with each other? How can we create those safe spaces for children, queer folks, even the young gang members to women, in our communities? And I think right now, my involvement now has been more so just trying to build community and work with my family, because my family is like, we talk about a representation of patriarchal systems and values and stuff. Like, how do I work with family members and stuff like that? So I think it's been taking it a step at a time, but also being out there and doing cop watch patrols and observing the police, and showing them that, regardless if you're here, we're gonna always be right behind you, and we're gonna have a camera in your face regardless of what any of the laws say, and we're gonna utilize certain social media networks and sites and stuff to get that information out. And more so I've been working also around police brutality with the October 22nd Coalition, also what's been going on in Oscar Grant case. If folks are not really familiar with Oscar Grant, he was a young black male in Northern California, Oakland, who was executed by the police. They shot the young man who had a family, shot him in his back while he was on the ground. The PA that killed him, his case was actually brought to Los Angeles because they felt that they could get a fair trial, whatever that means, in Los Angeles. Long story short, he ended up getting off, with manslaughter. Most likely he'll get time served, whatever. But we've been doing a lot of work more so around police brutality because that's the immediate issue that's in our face. We can talk about capitalism, white supremacy, and all that stuff, but to a lot of us, these are abstract concepts because it's not right in our face necessarily. Even though the racism is right in our face, but we don't connect it to something much more than what it actually is. So I think now it's been more so focusing on the police, understanding their role, but also being more proactive and also trying to build and working also as a supporter also of RAC, or Revolutionary Autonomous Communities, because they've been working in the Pico Union area, which is mainly Central American, Mexican community. And from there, I've learned, a lot of stuff, that I feel that I can apply to my community, because these programs and these mutual aid things can't stay stagnant, They can't just be in one place, they have to spread out. And I feel for me, it's more, I have to clean up my own kitchen. I clean my own house at a certain point, You can clean other folks' house, but you have to take care of your own shit at a certain point. And I feel that it gets back into me trying to liberate African folks too, especially talking about anarchism and African folks, or what I call African folks in America. Like, they don't know about anarchism, although they may have these principles and stuff. They don't know about it. They just see white boys going around with black-owned busting windows and stuff, who have no type of ties or connections to the community. My job, I feel, is if they see these white kids busting windows and stuff, let's connect it to something and show that, all right, this also affects us, and that if they're going out there doing these direct actions, that it's also should be in solidarity with what's going on in our communities. Not necessarily taking over and telling us they know our oppression better than we know our oppression, but linking people in the community to these ideas. And I feel that as a person of African descent who consider themselves an anarchist, it's very rare. I know doing most things that you see, you don't see black folks talking about that. Even most black folks I know that in this country that are politically active fall under the any 50+ umbrella, category of Marxism or something. They have a class analysis, but they don't want to touch nationalist question. Like, you're living in colonial conditions, how can you not want to touch, on the nationalist question, And just really connecting a global movement to something more smaller and, using that as a seed to build a tree, a revolutionary tree.